Kevin Durant has not been traded yet, but there was a significant trade in the National Basketball Association over the weekend. By the way, NBA Finals resuming tonight. They took a weekend off in the middle of everything, but they're back. This is the trade that I kind of felt like was a little out of nowhere. Wolf, Desmond Bane goes to the Magic. Orlando has been working for a while to try and add their next piece, and they probably actually looked around the Eastern Conference and were like, okay, we got Paolo, we've got some decent pieces, and the Eastern Conference is looking pretty wide open. They go out and they get Desmond Bane from Memphis. Memphis gets Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and a first-round pick swap.
Wow.
That's a lot, man. That is a lot. I like Desmond Bane, but that's a lot.
No, it is a lot right there. And, for me, I was really surprised when this came down, Basinonians. I really like Desmond Bane a lot. I like him a lot. I like his game. Yeah, he's a guy that, he's maybe not as long as you would like, but this is a guy that in your backcourt, of course, is going to contribute on both ends of the floor. He's a two-way player to me. He's a guy who can shoot lights out at 3 as well. Mm-hmm. I really, really like Desmond Bane and his game right now. I was shocked when this came down, though. Now, I realize that you have to look at it. I believe he's got 4 more years on his contract right now, and he's 10 years younger than KD as well.
Yeah.
Got to throw all that stuff into the hat when you talk about this. But, man, I didn't think it made the Grizzlies better.
No.
And that makes me think there's another part to this deal, another shoe that's got to drop.
It didn't make the Grizzlies better, certainly in the moment. Should point out, too, Desmond Bane, the 30th pick of the 2020 draft. So, I mean, it's not impossible to get players towards the end of the first round.
True.
I wouldn't be trading Kevin Durant for 1 first-round pick that's going to be like the 28th pick or whatever. You know my thoughts on that. You got to get some actual players back, too, or a ton of picks. But it is possible to get guys, obviously, because look at what they got for Desmond Bane right there. The question it raises is, does this set the market at all for Kevin Durant? And I don't mean that in the sense of, are the Suns going to get 4 unprotected first-round picks and 2 players and a pick swap? They're not going to get that for KD. But in the moment right now, Desmond Bane is 10 years younger. He's signed for 4 years. Kevin Durant's still a better player in 2025. He's a better player. So if I'm Houston or San Antonio or whoever that's trading for him, I'm not trading for Kevin Durant 5 years from now. I'm trading for him right now because I'm going for it right now. The Suns should be able to get a pretty good return if that's what Desmond Bane costs. I understand Memphis got more for Desmond Bane than the Suns can realistically expect for Kevin Durant. But it shouldn't be a lot more. Kevin Durant's a better player.
Yes. No, I would agree with that. For me, once again, a big part of this deal, and one of the reasons why they gave up so much for Desmond Bane, is because he's got 4 years on his contract.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is the reason why I continue to come back to this deal with Kevin Durant, the possibility of Kevin signing a extension with whatever team he's traded to, and how critical it is, Luke, because I think this is the reason why you're going to get a haul back. Not as much as what you had gave up to get Kevin Durant, of course, but the reason why it's so important that he does sign an extension with another team, it's because you're going to get more back. You just are. They're going to give you more if Kevin Durant is on board. It's one of the reasons why these 3 teams, it's critical that you make a deal with one of these 3 teams, because I believe the blessing has been bestowed, so to speak, with KD.
And you really have to trim out all the extra noise. Again, Desmond Bane's 26, KD's 36. I get it. Desmond Bane signed for 4 years, but to your point, if KD signs an extension with a team for 2 more years, then you're getting 3 years of Kevin Durant or 4 years of Desmond Bane. At that point, it doesn't really matter what Desmond Bane's going to be in 7 years. It matters 4 years of Desmond Bane versus 3 years of Kevin Durant. And again, I'm not asking for exactly what Memphis got, but don't sell me on this garbage where I get a bench player and a mid-first-round pick for Kevin Durant if Desmond Bane just went for 4 unprotected firsts and a pick swap and 2 additional players,
Yeah.
I better at least get a good young player and 2 first-round picks for Kevin Durant. Anything less than that, I'll just keep him, honestly.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
Like, it's ridiculous if I have to take less than that.
I'm with you on that. You know, it was so interesting when I saw this deal, Basinonians, because I wrote in my notes, I was like, what are they doing? what are the Grizzlies doing? How are they better after this deal? Oh, wait a minute. They're loading up for something else. And I thought to myself, could it possibly be that they're loading up for KD?
I saw you put that in your
okay.
in your email.
And of course, KD has said he's never said Memphis, as far as I know.
I think he specifically said he didn't.
Yeah,
want Memphis,
wasn't
right?
that like
What?
at the deadline he said anywhere but Memphis?
That was
Yeah,
like
okay.
the report.
And
that
I guess
came out.
Golden State.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying I didn't hear that, but I've never heard him tied to Memphis.
I haven't heard him tied to Memphis, and it wasn't him that said it, but I remember that report. Like,
Okay,
they were like, "Oh, he'll go anywhere."
Must
except
hate
Memphis.
barbecue.
I'm spacing that one
Oh,
right
maybe
there.
he should be on this show. Since we
Yeah,
all
I'm
hate
spacing.
barbecue now.
Maybe just in Memphis. You just didn't want to be in Memphis or something like that. I have no idea. But to me, it made me think immediately. What are they? Oh, something else is coming. That's
Something
why
else.
you loaded up with all that draft capital.
Here's Bobby Marks on that exact topic yesterday.
Well, we'll know soon because, Jaren Jackson Jr. is renegotiation eligible this offseason here. And if they give him a nice sized contract and you've cap space to do it, then that's certainly an indication that they're going to continue building around him and Ja Morant. Ja's going to be interesting too because he's extension eligible. Zach Edey's out for a little bit of time, and they pick up the 16th pick in the draft here. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's some ways where you could say, trading probably your second best player off that roster is a sign that you're going to take a step back. I don't know how you can take a step back in the Western Conference. It's unless you're really going to take a step back, and that's trading away, Ja and Jaren and picking up all these draft picks and then trying to figure out through the draft here and everything.
Yeah.
It looks
I
like,
will say this, though, Luke.
yeah.
We've heard about these teams that might be out there, right? These other teams.
These wild card teams.
These wild card teams that might be out there and coming out of nowhere and suddenly, bam! Yeah. Which makes me really suspicious about this deal.
I don't think Memphis is going to trade for KD, but let me go down the path you're talking about for just a second.
What if it was in part of a bigger deal,
Well,
so to speak?
yeah, certainly that.
More teams involved.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Is that a possibility? Of course.
But even if it was just them, and again, I don't think this is going to happen, but it does. There's some logic to, okay, we have Desmond Bane. What if we turn him into 4 first-round picks and a couple players and a pick swap, and then we send 2 of those picks and a player for Kevin? So now you've turned Desmond Bane to Kevin Durant and 2 unprotected first-round picks and a pick swap or whatever. I don't know. Something's going to happen here pretty soon, and that something is not what I expected over the weekend.
I just know right now the Memphis Grizzlies, they're not a better team after this.
No,
right now
they're too good to just completely hit the reset button. They had too many pieces. They I don't know. It would be really strange to me if Memphis this season was just like, you know what, we have to just completely start over. Well, how many games did they win last year? They ended up winning
48.
Yeah, 48.
48 games. They were 48 and 34.
They kind of reminded me of the Suns in 2022, though. They weren't as good, obviously, but their playoff run was just so it was just so bad.
Yeah, I mean, if they're hitting reset, they are literally hitting it because of how good the Western Conference is, and that's scary if teams that are decent are just bailing because of how good the top of the West is.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.